Hello and welcome to a little series I like to call I Complain About Things I Don't Like. On today's agenda is something that we all use every day. I'm using it right now. You're using it to watch this video from. And that's the internet. We all know it. We all love it. We all use it every single day. Everyone uses it as part of their day-to-day life. I'm not here to discuss the good parts of the internet. Today we're taking a deep dive into the negative parts of the internet. And what I mean by that is the content creators, the targeted ads, things like that. So grab yourself some popcorn. Let's go. Social media companies, places like Instagram, TikTok, whatever it is that you use on a day-to-day basis. Most people tend to think that social media companies compete for the best service, but in my opinion, the reality is that they're more so competing for your attention. And what does I mean by that? I mean, attention has become one of the most valuable resources in the modern world, because attention can be converted into money through things like advertisements, subscriptions, and data collection. Meaning that platforms are constantly experimenting with ways to keep you engaged. For example, every notification, recommendation, anything that may be on autoplay, infinite scroll mechanisms to keep you going and going and scrolling, meaning you're going to spend more and more time on these platforms. I know for sure there's some people watching right now who just spend hours on hours scrolling, and I'm a victim of this myself. I'll be 100% honest. I've had times where I could sit for hours on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and just scroll, watch every and any bits of slop, shoved video. I want to elaborate. I'm not criticizing anyone. If you do this, you do this. I mean, it's unhealthy, and I hope you stop. But this brings me on to this point that if even me myself, I'm a victim of this, it clearly shows how terrifyingly effective this system of shoving anything in front of you and you just consuming it for hours at a time.
This is not good. I think this is the end.
Yeah, I think this is the end, bro. I think we're dead.
My name is Andrew Dingus.
Oh, shittings.
It is a very, very scary system and unhealthily addictive. It is addictive. That's the best way I can describe it. There is thousands of people that understands the way these works. They analyze the data and then understand what keeps people at a screen when billions and billions of dollars are spent to capture your attention. It's no surprise that so many people struggle to put their phones down. And we've seen this. There's been lawsuits recently that have shown that social media can drain you, make you feel bad about yourself, doubt yourself, depression. I'll probably show some things on screen now to prove my point. As a result of this, the result is not often that we're choosing how to spend our attention. It's reacting to systems specifically designed to hold us down into the system. And what do I mean by that? What I mean by that is when your algorithm feeds you things you enjoy. For example, let's say you're really into cars. If your algorithm keeps giving you car videos, you're going to keep watching. You can't take your eyes off the screen. Now, it's easy to say, oh, just put the phone down. But again, going back to what I said, there is people that simply cannot because they are addicted and they want to consume more and more and more. There's even been times in my personal experience, I can tell you, as much as I hate to admit this, I will sometimes forget I'm even watching. And it's a habit I'm trying to break. And I recommend everyone as well. Please get off your phones, go interact with friends.
Nope.
Whatever it is.
Nope.
And that's something we'll touch on as well in this video.
No.
Moving smoothly along to the next topic of discussion. Authenticity. Authenticity on the internet. Or should I say a lack thereof. The internet, I feel, sometimes encourages people to be performers. And when I say that, imagine, for example, you post a photo online. You don't usually use the first picture you take, for example. You take multiple photos, you choose which one's the best, you edit it, you think about what people think. Now, am I saying that that's a bad thing? Inherently, no. Obviously, you're well within your right to do that. But over time, it constructs a completely different version of yourself. You're not really authentic anymore. You're not yourself. You're a completely different person. And this problem can be amplified with things like comments, likes, views, whatever the case. It can make people so much worse. Naturally, people will adjust their behavior to receive more positive reactions. Eventually, some people stop expressing who they are entirely as long as it performs well. The internet likes and rewards marketability. Being real is messy and complicated. For example, take your Mr. Beasts of the world, iShow Speeds.
Please, Speed, I need this. My mom.
Kai Cenat, people like that. I'm not personally a fan of them, but just from what I've seen, they're like cardboard. You're straight down the line, bland. That's just my opinion. A lot of people won't agree with that, and you're entitled to your own opinion, absolutely. If you enjoy their content, that's completely fine. I personally don't digest their content, but the fact they have millions on millions of views, subscribers, likes, clearly shows that it's a formula that works over time.
Shut up.
Fine.
History lesson time. Throughout the human years, thousands of years, whatever you want to call it, I don't even know. Most people in human history formed opinions, for example, through direct experience, conversations, books, and reflection. Which I'm not saying we don't do today. Absolutely, there's people that still form opinions in that way. But I feel like today's opinions are nicely smoked on charcoal and presented to you via your favorite content creator. They're not really formed by ourselves anymore. I feel like for a lot of people, they don't take the time to digest and instead just go off what the most popular person says or what's trending at the time. A lot of people on the internet, I feel like, have this mentality of, instead of asking, what do I think? Instead, people ask, what does my side think? People, the best way to put it, people are, sometimes I feel like they're sheep.
Damn.
That's a very, very mean thing to say, but I don't mean it in like a bad way. People follow a herd instead of being their own person. That's the best way I could put that. Many individuals end up adopting complete belief in systems without critically thinking or examining them. They don't really have an opinion of their own again, and then reflects on themselves as a person, and then maybe they look back later on and they're like, what was I doing? Let me leave you with an example like this. Let's say, for example, there is something you enjoy. Well, let's say that's a niche thing not many people know of, but you yourself enjoy it. But a mass crowd would say, that's weird, or why do you like that? Do not enjoy that thing because a lot of people don't like it. And that's what I feel like a lot of people do. They don't want to be themselves because of the impression that people leave on the internet. And while, yes, there is weird things on the internet, do not get me wrong, and sometimes people have to be called out for said things, sometimes when really it's nothing that deep, and you still decide to refrain from expressing that hobby of yours or whatever it is you like or want to do, don't be discouraged to do it just because A and Z doesn't like it. That was a special there. I hope that tugged at your heartstrings. You're welcome.
Your life is nothing. You serve zero purpose. You should kill yourself now.
The point I'm trying to leave behind is the internet makes it very easy to borrow opinions. I can't speak again. I have not improved. This is the third time, and I haven't improved. To finish off on what I was saying, thinking independently requires effort. On the other hand, following a crowd and what everyone else thinks does not. Moving on to the fatal flaw of comparison. Human beings have compared themselves to one another for hundreds of years, whether that be to your neighbors, to your classmates, co-workers, family members, cousins, relatives, whatever. The difference in scale. However, over time, there's also been chances where you'll see people comparing themselves to celebrities, athletes, influencers. They've compared themselves to people like that. But you're rarely seeing the struggles that they face. You're rarely seeing any of that. You're seeing the highlights, the good moments, the beauty, whatever it is, whoever you're comparing yourself to. That's the only thing you're seeing. Now, I'm not saying it's a struggle to be a celebrity. Absolutely, you're wealthy, famous, recognizable, probably chilling in a mansion somewhere, whatever it is. By no means am I saying it's hard to be a celebrity. We as people should stop comparing ourselves and our ordinary lives to extraordinary moments. Because once that happens, it's a recipe for disaster. And becoming depressed, dissatisfied, unwilling to do anything in order to strive to make our lives better becomes inevitable. We will eventually spiral down into this cycle of I hate this sucks, bloody bloody blah. Anger. Anger, in my opinion, is one of the most prominent emotions on the internet. It holds so much weight, so much power, and so much rule over everyone. Platforms recognize this behavior. As a result of this, controversy content often receives more visibility than things that are trying to put a more positive spotlight on things, because it generates stronger reactions, more views, more clicks, and then more comments. More comments means more people talk to each other, more likes are generated, and then the messy spiral. Now, by no means am I implying that the internet creates anger, because that's not necessarily the case. But what I am trying to say is that the internet amplifies anger by giving people an outlet to express negative opinions, I guess. I mean, you're entitled to do so, absolutely. Freedom of speech, I guess. But that's also what creates the negativity and what pushes a hatred of sorts and a bad impression and leaves a bad taste in the mouth in general. I also feel like it feels very disposable. The internet has created an environment where there's an endless amount of abundance. For example, there's millions of videos, millions of songs, posts, creators, because there's always something new waiting. And which I sort of feel like individual pieces of content feel less valuable. People consume content rapidly and move on immediately. And what I mean by that is major events. For example, not to take it there, but we had the war with Ukraine and Russia. For one, it's still a very major thing. There's things happening all the time. But it was a matter of months, if that, before people moved on to the next thing.
I don't want to play with you anymore.
And now it's crickets. Nothing is going on. The speed of the internet has created a culture where almost nothing remains important for very long anymore. My biggest point, and probably the worst of the bunch, is the loneliness. Meanwhile, we're in the most connected era in the world. Human beings have evolved from face-to-face interaction to screens. We used to communicate through body language, eye contact, tone of voice, touch, and shared experiences. Digital conversation can remove so many of those elements. You can't tell touch. You can't really share an experience through a phone. And as much as it's bad, I understand that it's great. Sometimes when you just need to speak to someone, online interactions can be convenient. But in terms of the real world, they lacked depth and really show you what a relationship with that person is, whether they're a friend, a partner, whatever it is. You can't really get that same sort of feeling through a phone. which I feel like can also make you feel alone. And I'm trying not to make it a depressing topic, but loneliness is horrible. It takes such a toll on an individual. Over time, you just disconnect from people, and this is the problem. The more you disconnect from people, the worse this feeling is going to get. And over time, you will just become a shell of who you once were. The possibility of just communicating through people online. And some people don't even do that. Some people just spend their time online and not communicate to people at all. It's sad. People need real relationships. People need to see people face to face and have real human connections. Connection and closeness are not identical things. Well, that was really depressing. I'm going to play a funny video here to cheer you up. I don't know, put something funny there to make people happy. As much as we think there's points in our life where the internet isn't involved or it ends, I don't think that's necessarily the case. I mean, there was times where you could leave work and truly disconnect, but in today's age, you bring your phone everywhere with you. And with that, you bring things like news, emails, arguments, random notifications, social pressure, entertainment, and most importantly, work responsibilities. There's never a time where we are truly disconnected as people from the internet. Everything you may want or may not want is on the internet, is on your phone. And human being brains weren't designed to have constant stimulation without rest. Many people, after a while, just feel genuinely mentally exhausted because of how rarely they genuinely have downtime. The only time you're really off is when you sleep, if we really think about it. The internet rewarding the wrong kind of thing. They reward the wrong kind of opinions. The ones that are very extreme, ones that attract attention. Opinions that are moderate or everyone agrees with don't really get the spotlight like that. The loudest voices are often the ones most visible. That's half of content creators we have today. That's how they got their popularity. By saying extreme things and doing shocking things. The most shocking claims often spread the fastest. As a result of this, online spaces have become dominated by people expressing increasingly extreme viewpoints. This can make society appear far more polarized than it actually is. Most people occupy the middle ground, such as I say myself, I occupy a middle ground. I'm sort of not this nor that. But the internet hides these kind of things. They don't want you to have essentially an opinion of your own that's good or anything in between. The loss of mystery. Throughout history, there was uncertain things. Every day you had a question. Every day you wanted to explore and investigate. Questions didn't have immediate answers. People explored, experimented, and discovered things gradually. Today, almost everything can be searched within an instant. If you think of something, you Google it, you get your answer. While this is incredible, it's a very powerful, useful tool, some people argue we've lost a certain sense of wonder. Mystery inspires curiosity. Curiosity inspires exploration. Exploration? What? Exploration inspires growth. While it's great that every answer is immediately available, some of that journey disappears. People lose creativity, the willing to investigate and things like that. And that's a shame, really, because if we think about it, throughout the world's history, that's how a lot of the incredible, amazing inventions and things we've discovered throughout our lifetimes has happened, because we didn't have that answer and we strived to find out for ourselves. Not to say we can't do this now, but it's far more limited now than it ever was before, because like I said again, answers are immediately available and we lose that drive to discover. To conclude, in my opinion, the internet has made life feel less meaningful. For thousands of years, Meaning was often built through local communities, families, relationships, shared experiences, personal hobbies, activities, or even long-term goals. The internet exposes us to so many people, ideas, lifestyles, and achievements. And these things maybe make your life feel insignificant by comparison. For example, you see someone becoming a millionaire by the age of 20, traveling the world, building massive audiences, seemingly living the perfect life. And when you're exposed to that kind of thing constantly, ordinary life can start to feel disappointing or unfulfilling. But meaning was never meant to come from being extraordinary. Meaning comes from simple things. Spending time with your family, being close with the people you care about, improving yourself, helping others, building a life that matters to you. The internet can sometimes distract us from these things, constantly showing us what other people are doing instead, or how great these people are. That might just be the strongest point that I've made in this video. Doing things like this could alleviate the boredom, the loneliness, comparison, attention, whatever it is. These things could go away with doing some of the things I've said today. Try it. Go spend some time with your family, whatever it is. Be grateful for what you have, because no matter how much anyone else could have, you should never ever compare yourself. Because no matter what you think yourself now, you can always improve yourself. And plus, at the end of the day, as long as you do the things that make you happy, who cares? Sound off in the comments. Tell me what you guys think. Do you agree? Do you think I'm just being blind? Maybe I am. Correct me if I'm wrong. But I think there are far more important things in life. Regardless, hope you enjoyed. It's just a little rant I wanted to do.
We do not
it's
care.
something I've sort of been realizing the more time I've spent on various social media platforms. As always, go check out the shorts, please. I'd much appreciate that. And watch my other videos too. Very good content I make. Please go check that out as well. Subscribe as well if you want.